Introduction to vitamins.
Are you human? If you answered yes to this question, that means you need vitamins.
What are vitamins and why do you need them?
Vitamins are essential nutrients that are needed in the body in very small amounts. They include vitamins A, D, E, K, the B complex vitamins, and vitamin C. They have no calories, so they don't provide the body with energy. So then what do they do?
Vitamins help your body get stuff done. For example, they help your body in the process of breaking down food to get the energy you need. So if it weren't for vitamins, no energy for you.
Close your eyes and imagine your body is a huge fancy hotel.
Vitamins are like the staff of the hotel. They make sure everything runs smoothly, that the guests are taken care of, and the hotel makes money. Likewise, vitamins make sure that all of the nutrients in the body get where they need to go, and that the macronutrients are properly broken down into energy for the body to use.
Here's a few examples of the jobs that vitamins do. Vitamin A helps your eyes adjust to light changes and develops and maintains things in the body like the skin, bones, and soft tissues.
Vitamin D helps your body absorb the minerals calcium and phosphorus. Vitamin E acts as an antioxidant. And vitamin K helps your body form blood clots so you stop bleeding when wounded.
The B-complex vitamins, including folic acid, vitamin B12, niacin, riboflavin, thiamine, and B6, are essential to glucose metabolism and for obtaining energy from foods. And vitamin C keeps your skin smooth and firm and aids healing. And that's just to name a few. All vitamins have multiple jobs.
I'm sorry, you said that vitamin E is an antioxidant? What does that mean, to be antioxygen?
Exactly. An antioxidant, such as vitamin E, is anti or against oxygen. It is a substance that protects the body from damage due to a chemical reaction called oxidation. Oxidation occurs when substances in the body are exposed to oxygen. Have you ever seen an apple turn brown? That's oxidation.
Oxidation creates these things called free radicals. Free radicals are not a good thing. Like a bunch of wild rogue bandits, they run around the body causing mischief. They can cause chain reactions of cell damage and cancer. Luckily, good old vitamin E can keep them at bay.
So you see, if it weren't for vitamins, your body would be in trouble. It would not be able to achieve optimum health.
Where can you find vitamins?
You must travel far and wide, through the roiling swamps and high desert, to the very ends of the earth.
No, it's actually much easier than that. To find vitamins, you needn't travel much farther than a healthy, varied diet. Professor is stupid.
Think about it. If you only talked to the same 5 people your whole life, you would have a pretty narrow view of the world. You would miss out on so many good music recommendations.
Somewhat similarly, variety in the diet is key because different vitamins are found in different foods. Eating a variety is the best way to get the full spectrum of vitamins your body needs. Here are a few examples of foods where you can find different vitamins.
Some of the best sources of vitamin A are foods from animal sources, especially liver and fish. Certain plants also contain a form of vitamin A called beta-carotene. Beta-carotene is a chemical that provides the orange pigment in fruits and veggies like carrots, pumpkins, and squash. It is also found in dark green leafy veggies as well as apricots.
Vitamin D is not found naturally in very many foods. Liver, egg yolks, fatty fish, that's about it. Luckily, food is not the only place you can get vitamin D. Our bodies can also make their own vitamin D using...
Black magic!
No.
Unicorn blood!
No!
Gymnastics?
No. The body makes its own vitamin D using sunlight.
Oh.
Brilliant.
Vitamin D is also commonly found in foods that have been fortified or artificially injected with it. For example, milk and dairy products are often fortified with vitamin D. That's because dairy products contain calcium, and vitamin D helps the body absorb calcium. Pretty snazzy, huh?
Moving on to vitamin E. Excellent sources of vitamin E can be found in a whole bunch of different foods, including vegetable oils, dark leafy greens, almonds, sunflower seeds, and wheat germ.
Good amounts of vitamin K may be found in liver, leafy green vegetables, green tea, and members of the cabbage family like broccoli and Brussels sprouts.
The B complex vitamins include 8 different vitamins that can each be found in different foods, such as in whole grains, fruits and vegetables, meats, nuts, beans, and dairy.
The B-complex vitamin folic acid, also known as folate, is especially critical for women at childbearing age, as it helps prevent birth defects in pregnancy. Just think, foliage for folate, because the best sources of folate are leafy greens, as well as lentils and orange juice.
Any vegetarians or vegans out there? One vitamin that vegetarians and vegans especially need to pay attention to is the B-complex vitamin known as B12, since this vitamin is mostly found in animal products. People who do not eat animal products usually must incorporate this vitamin into their diet via supplementation or fortified foods.
Vitamin C is found in citrus fruits and their juices. Other good sources are broccoli and other dark greens like kale, turnip and mustard greens, tomatoes, strawberries, cantaloupe, guava, mango, papaya, and red peppers.
However, there are plenty of foods that don't contain many vitamins at all. Foods like sugary and salty snacks, refined grains, and highly processed foods are usually pretty useless in the vitamin department. Even if they do contain some vitamins, it's usually not worth it for the amount of sugar or salt you're getting. Remember, the point is not so much to go around collecting vitamins as it is to obtain them through a healthy, well-balanced diet.
Just think of your diet like a rainbow. Each color of the rainbow represents different vitamins and nutrients. Your health requires that you get some of every color in your body. Your body wants you to swallow the whole rainbow.
Types of vitamins: fat-soluble and water-soluble.
Vitamins are divided into 2 main groups, the fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K, and the water-soluble vitamins B-complex and C. We'll start by talking about the fatties.
After they're consumed, the fat-soluble vitamins are not absorbed directly in the bloodstream. Instead, they move first through the lymph, a fluid that surrounds tissues. Also, fat-soluble vitamins get stored up in the body's fat stores, like canned food in an earthquake shelter. They're kept in the parts of the body that store fat. That's what fat-soluble means.
Well, that's nice, but I'm a practical gal. I want to know what that means for me.
Well, since the fat-soluble vitamins can be stored, that means they don't have to be consumed every day. You just need to get enough of those fatties over extended periods of time, and the rest of the time you can just chill.
That's good news. But there's a flip side. Since they accumulate in the body, the fat-soluble vitamins are more likely to reach toxic levels. That means you can overdose on them. As we'll learn, getting too much of a vitamin, especially a fat-soluble vitamin, can be just as bad as not getting enough.
Now for the water-soluble vitamins, the B-complex vitamins and vitamin C. These dudes are different from the fatties. After they're consumed, they go straight to the bloodstream with no layover in the lymph. Unlike fat-soluble vitamins, water-soluble vitamins are not stored in the body. Instead, they flow straight through it and exit with the urine, like a water slide. Water-soluble vitamins are chill cats for sure. They always go with the flow.
So what does this mean for you? Well, since they are continually flushed out of the body with the urine, those water sliders need to be consumed on a daily basis. Kind of annoying, but the good thing is that since these guys are constantly on their way out, they're not as likely to reach toxic levels in the body.
The thing about water-soluble vitamins, since they're always going with the flow, is that they can easily be destroyed through cooking. So they have to be prepared carefully. Let's see how.
In order to retain the nutritional value of your vegetables when cooking them, you want to use as little water as possible. Steaming them is the best way to do this.
Other vitamin-saving cooking solutions are baking your vegetables or microwaving them. You can also just eat them raw. Or, if you want to get really creative, boil your veggies in water and then use the vitamin-rich water to make a soup.
Mother had a curious recipe which involved eating raw vegetables, then sitting in a hot steam bath. Oh.
vitamin considerations.
Is your narwhal looking a bit pale? Is that horn a tad dull? Luckily, Live Well Narwhal has just come out with a new Narwhalian vitamin supplement called Narwhalitol, containing pure unicorn horn extract, sustainably harvested essence of zebra stripe, and fortified with partially hydrogenated rainbow oil. Narwhalitol will lift your favorite narwhal out of its Arctic melancholy and have it leaping for the northern lights. Call today and receive a free sample with your first purchase of Narwhalitol for just $19.999999999. If you call within the next hour, you'll receive this authentic, rhinestone-studded narwhal saddle. Don't wait. Don't do it. Don't wait. Go. In some cases, certain side effects, including flipper inside-out syndrome and the condition known as Narwhalian psychosis, may occur. In 1 out of 10 cases, narwhals taking Narwhalitol develop partial usage of human speech. Narwhals who are friends with unicorns should avoid visiting sea without...
When it comes to vitamins, there are a few things to consider. We'll discuss vitamin deficiency and toxicity, daily vitamin recommendations, and supplements and fortified foods. Tie your shoelaces, 'cause here we go!
Vitamin deficiency and toxicity.
Moderation is of paramount importance in all areas of life, young scholars. Too much of a good thing is just, well, a bore. At boarding school, the headmaster kept me on a strict diet of stoicism. Never a smile. Never a leap. My second term, I turned into a rock.
Not getting enough of a certain vitamin or any nutrients can cause a deficiency. On the other hand, vitamin toxicity is when you get too much of a certain vitamin. That can be just as bad as not getting enough.
Vitamin deficiencies and toxicities can lead to various health problems, some that are serious and some that are not, depending on how toxic or deficient the person is.
For example, people with a vitamin D deficiency are likely to develop a bone disorder called rickets, in which their bones fail to calcify normally. This problem is not common in the United States.
People who become toxic in vitamin A may at first experience dry, itchy skin, a headache, nausea, a loss of appetite, dizziness, and blurred vision.
Prolonged deficiency of the vitamin can result in decreased bone density, liver abnormalities, and birth defects.
All right, now I'm freaking out. I really had no idea that vitamins could be so high maintenance. I mean, what am I supposed to do? Wear a vitamin monitor around my wrist? Set an alarm for when I go 1/1000th of a gram over?
Shh. There. The truth is that it's rare for anyone to overdose on a vitamin by consuming it through food alone. Instead, overdoses usually occur when people are taking artificial supplements. We'll get to that in just a sec, so sit tight.
But first, let's see some vitamin intake recommendations.
How much of each vitamin do you need? And how much is too much? As with other nutrients, vitamins come with recommendations for healthy daily intake levels. The most up-to-date nutritional recommendations are the Dietary Reference Intakes, or DRIs. The DRIs are a full set of nutrient reference values for healthy populations that can be used for planning healthy diets. For vitamins, they provide a healthy amount to be consumed daily. The DRIs for each vitamin may vary for different ages and genders.
When looking at the intake recommendations for vitamins, it's important to pay attention to units. Vitamins are most often measured in milligrams or micrograms, which are super tiny. Check it out. Here's a gram. It's about the mass of a paperclip. Milligrams are equal to 1/1000th of a gram. The even tinier microgram is 1/1,000,000th of a gram. And then there's the mysterious International Unit, or IU. This is not a unit of mass at all, but an internationally agreed upon measure of the degree of effect a substance produces.
If you're comparing the amounts of a vitamin found in two different supplements, make sure they're provided in the same units.
There's also a number called the daily value, or DV. This is the number you'll probably most often notice on food and supplement labels. The daily value is a number derived from the DRIS. It tells you what percentage of the DRI a food or supplement contains for a given vitamin. This value is based on the idea of an average person who would need approximately 2,000 to 2,500 calories per day.
Luckily, when it comes to the food, you don't have to worry about being maniacally exact with vitamin intake. On the other hand, you do need to pay some attention to numbers when dealing with supplements.
What's the deal with these sketchy supplements? Are they good or bad? Should I take them or avoid them? Help!
Supplements and fortified foods.
A dietary supplement is something that gets added to your diet to make up for any nutrients that your body doesn't provide quite enough of. Supplements can come in various forms, such as tablets, capsules, liquids, powders, or unicorn form.
I'm confused. The food you eat should technically be sufficient in providing you with all the vitamins you need. That's the idea behind a well-balanced diet, right? It provides you with the full range of nutrients. So then why supplements?
Well, it's possible that a person's diet might fall short on some vitamins. So something like a multivitamin can provide extra insurance that you get as much as you need.
In fact, these days, most people do not get enough vitamins and minerals from diet alone. So, vitamin supplements can be a vital part of satisfying your nutrient requirements.
But let's get something straight. Supplements are for picking up the slack, but they are not as important as food and are no substitute for the nutritional value of a well-balanced diet.
Think about it like this. On a really cold day, you bundle up before going outside. You put on a jacket, scarf, hat, and gloves. In order to make yourself even warmer, you include a pair of long underwear under your pants. Think of the long underwear like a dietary supplement. They make you warmer only when added to your outerwear ensemble. If you were to wear only the long underwear, you would freeze. The long underwear does not replace the outerwear, just like vitamins cannot replace a healthy diet.
So what type of supplements are out there? A multivitamin is a dietary supplement that includes small amounts of a bunch of different vitamins.
Health food stores also carry supplements for individual vitamins. These tend to provide higher dosages than multivitamins and are rarely necessary. Be aware that health food stores are trying to make a profit. They may try to convince you that you need to purchase expensive supplements to be at your optimum state of health. The truth is that supplements are most often used by people with special conditions. For example, vegetarians and vegans who do not eat any animal products may require a vitamin B12 supplement, since this vitamin is only found in animal products.
When choosing a multivitamin, take a look at the label. Make sure the supplement provides at least the DRI for each vitamin included, but be wary of supplements providing exorbitant amounts of vitamins. Although these amounts are not necessarily going to make your face explode, when it comes to vitamins and minerals, enough is enough. More is not necessarily better.
The last thing we'll talk about today is fortified foods.
Fortified foods, also known as enriched foods, are foods that have had vitamins or other nutrients artificially added to them. Many breakfast cereals, bread products, fruit juices, and dairy products are fortified. Products made from refined grains like bread products, pasta, or rice may be fortified to replace the nutrients that were lost during the refining process.
There is a good amount of debate out there when it comes to the whole fortified food thing. Is it necessary? Is it helpful? Could it be dangerous? Does it make sense to tamper with food and change it from the way it's found in nature?
Those are great questions to ask. The bottom line, of course, is that natural food sources are always a better choice for getting a nutrient than foods that have been artificially fortified with it. After all, nature knows what it's doing, right? However, fortified foods can be helpful for some people, such as vegans who don't get calcium from dairy products, or people who cannot afford or who do not have access to whole foods.
Minerals.
We often hear food products boasting about how many vitamins and minerals they contain. But have you ever wondered what exactly minerals are?
What are minerals? What do they do? And where are they found?
Minerals are solid chemical compounds found in nature. They're inorganic, meaning they don't come from plants or animals. Unlike vitamins, which are organic, minerals don't get chemically broken down as they pass through the body. They retain the same chemical structure coming out as they have going in. In fact, when a person dies, eventually all that's left of the body after the rest of it decomposes is a pile of minerals. That's a little morbid, but also sort of fascinating.
There are a handful of minerals that are essential to the body. Like vitamins, minerals do not provide the body with energy. However, they perform a slew of odd jobs that keep things working properly.
Some examples of the odd jobs minerals perform in the body include assisting with the formation of bones and teeth, the fluid balance and acid-base balance in the body, energy metabolism, nerve stimulation and nerve impulse transmission, oxygen transport and cellular respiration, as well as red blood cell functioning.
Different minerals do different things. And also, like vitamins, different minerals are found in different foods. So in order to be confident you are getting all of them, it's key to have a diet full of variety.
Like vitamins, minerals can also be taken as a supplement. Multivitamins usually contain minerals as well as vitamins, but as always with supplements, there are no substitutes for a healthy, balanced diet.
Let's get down to it already. There are two types of minerals the body needs: major minerals and trace minerals. Don't be deceived by the terms major and trace. Both types of minerals are equally important to the body. However, the major minerals are needed in larger amounts than the trace minerals.
The major minerals are needed in amounts of 100 milligrams per day or more. That's already pretty tiny. A milligram is 1,000th of a gram, and a gram has about the mass of a paperclip. Tiny, tiny, tiny.
I want to see these mysterious minerals already. Bring them on out.
First up, we've got calcium. Woo! Calcium! Calcium is the most abundant mineral in your body. There's almost as much calcium in your body as all other minerals combined. Calcium is mostly found in the bones and is crucial in the formation of bones and teeth. Well done, calcium!
Getting enough calcium in your diet is important for people of all ages. However, it is especially important for adolescents and anyone under the age of 30 because the most bone growth occurs in the body during these years.
I'm going to need to know all the places where I can find this calcium character.
Dairy products like milk and cheese are high in calcium, but they're not the only places you can find it. For people who don't consume dairy, fortified foods are the next best choice.
Other sources include dark leafy greens such as kale, collard greens, and mustard greens. However, you'll have to eat a lot of these foods to get enough calcium if they're your only source of the mineral.
And now let's hear it for phosphorus. The second most abundant mineral in the human body after calcium is phosphorus. Phosphorus is also needed for bone formation and works with calcium to maintain the bones.
The other major minerals needed by the body include sodium, potassium, magnesium, chloride, and sulfur.
And now, let's discuss the trace minerals. Trace minerals are needed in even smaller amounts than the major minerals.
Let's hear it for the trace minerals.
First up, we've got iron. Then there's iodine, fluoride, selenium, zinc, manganese, cobalt, copper, molybdenum, and chromium.
Remember, even though trace minerals are needed in smaller amounts than the major minerals, the jobs they do are just as important.
Mineral deficiencies and toxicities.
Just like with vitamins, a person can become deficient in a mineral if they don't get enough, or develop a toxicity if they get too much. Let's see what happens when a person is deficient or toxic with a certain mineral.
A deficiency in calcium can result in stunted bone growth in children and adolescents, known as rickets, and osteoporosis, porous, and weak bones in adults.
It is recommended that adolescents between the ages of 14 and 18 consume 1,300 milligrams of calcium per day.
In developing children and teens, symptoms of an iron deficiency include fatigue, a shortened attention span, decreased motivation toward intellectual pursuits, shortness of breath, rapid heartbeat, and impaired performance in activities and sports. An iron deficiency also increases the risk of infection and may lead to anemia.
Anemia is a condition resulting from iron deficiency in which a person has too few healthy red blood cells.
Iron deficiency may be common in teens and especially young women because of blood loss during menstruation.
It is recommended that teenage girls between the ages of 14 and 18 get 15 milligrams of iron per day, and that teenage boys between the ages of 14 and 18 get 11 milligrams of iron per day.
If a teenage girl does not get an adequate amount of iron in her diet, it may be necessary to take an iron supplement.
But of course, it's best to get your iron from the food you eat. This is especially the case with iron because it's more difficult for the body to absorb the form of iron found in supplements than the form found in food. Good food sources of iron include red meat, dark leafy greens, and fortified foods.
And now for toxicity. Sodium gets a lot of attention in the world of nutrition for being a highly overconsumed mineral. Although sodium is very important to our bodies in small amounts, most Americans get far too much of it. Over time, this can be a bad deal for the body, with links to high blood pressure or hypertension. Hypertension can lead to other serious problems, like stroke and heart disease.
One of the main causes of sodium overload is the overconsumption of processed foods. These packaged foods often contain mega amounts of sodium so that they can sit on the shelf for days without rotting. That's why choosing fresh foods, when possible, is a great way to cut down on sodium.
What can one do to prevent mineral deficiencies or toxicities? Well, as always, the answer is to maintain a varied, healthy, and well-balanced diet. The USDA provides healthy intake recommendations for minerals, just as it does for vitamins.
Monitoring your mineral intake can be important if you're taking supplements or eating many processed or fortified foods.
For example, the USDA recommends no more than 2,300 milligrams of sodium per day.
Electrolytes and fluid balance.
Sodium, potassium, chloride, and magnesium are electrolytes. An electrolyte is simply a compound that separates into electrically charged particles called ions when dissolved in water. The water is attracted to the electric charge of these ions and follows them around like fan mail follows pop stars. The water's all over those ions.
Did you know that electrolytes are important for maintaining fluid balance in the body? That's right, it's not just water that does the job. Water needs electrolytes to keep you hydrated. This occurs through something called the fluid and electrolyte balance.
You may not realize it, but you're already familiar with one common electrolyte. You know what it is? Salt. Salt is the common name for the electrolyte compound sodium chloride. Salt is an electrolyte, and our bodies need it to stay hydrated. Let's understand why this is by taking a look at the body's system of fluid and electrolyte balance.
Check it out. Here's a cell, the basic unit of life in your body. Cells are made up of mostly water. They're surrounded by an outer membrane that lets certain substances, such as water, in and keeps others out. The fluid around the cell contains sodium chloride and other particles. As a basic property, water follows salt, so water from within the cell moves outside toward the salt. However, once enough water has gone out, the tables are turned, and there is more salt inside the cell. So then the water moves back in, and so on and so forth. This system is called fluid and electrolyte balance.
You may be more familiar than you think you are about our need for salt and other electrolytes to stay hydrated. If you've ever tasted your sweat, you know that it's salty. That's because when you sweat, both salt and water come out of your body. To rehydrate, you need to replenish your body with both salt and water. That's why our bodies often crave salty foods in warmer weather when we sweat more.
Give your body a hand and drink up. And don't forget about electrolytes. If you're sick with vomiting or diarrhea, or sweating excessively, it is important to get some salt in addition to water.
Water.
Finally, we've made it to water. Water is by far the most important nutrient of all. Water is life.
Your body could survive for weeks without food, but it couldn't go more than a few days without water.
That's because the majority of your body is made of water. Each of your cells is made of 70 to 90% water, and 60% of your body as a whole is water. That's a lot of water.
What does water do?
As you may have guessed, water's got a lot of jobs in the body. It's basically the ocean where everything else goes down. We'll discuss several of these jobs.
Of course, the cells need water. They need it to do all kinds of things, including thousands of metabolic reactions. Water is an essential component of all body tissues. If cells don't get enough water to work efficiently, these reactions slow down. We may get tired, and our performance could lag.
Water is also the main substance that makes up blood, lymph, and body secretions.
And it's used for the transportation of nutrients and waste throughout the body, and for the overall maintenance of body temperature.
Water also acts as a solvent for a lot of small molecules like vitamins, minerals, and glucose.
Water balance in the body.
Remember how water-soluble vitamins must constantly be consumed because they pass through the body without being stored? Well, naturally our bodies cannot store water either. That means we have to keep on drinking it.
Your water consumption should equal your water loss. Since fluid imbalance in the body can be quite serious, your body runs a tight ship when it comes to maintaining a balance.
Regular ways of losing water include urination, sweating, and pooping. Urination is, a little tinkle, or maybe a lot of tinkle. Urination is the main way of losing water.
it's also an important bodily process. In order to get rid of metabolic waste, your body puts out about 500 milliliters of water per day. That's just over 2 cups of water in urine per day.
Exactly how much water do we need? An average adult needs 1 to 1.5 milliliters of water per calorie consumed. That means that the average adult who consumes about 2,000 to 2,500 calories per day would need about 2 to 2.5 liters of water. That's 8 to 10 cups per day.
However, the amount of water a person needs to drink varies based on factors such as the size of their body and their lifestyle. Active people, especially those who engage in a lot of physical activity that causes sweating, need to drink more.
You can use the color of your urine as a guide. Healthy urine is light yellow in color, indicating sufficient fluid intake. Dark yellow colored urine is a sign of inadequate fluid intake, which leads to dehydration.
What happens when your body doesn't get enough water?
If you lose more water than you consume, your body will send you signals to drink more. We know the sensation of our body telling us to drink as thirst, usually a dryness in the mouth and throat, and sometimes even a headache, lightheadedness, nausea, or irritability. Thirst is an important factor in our body's maintenance of fluid balance.
But get this, thirst is not a reliable indicator of when to drink. The idea is to avoid feeling thirsty at all. If you feel thirsty, you're already too low. Thirst is your body's way of saying, "Help me, you fool!"
The state of not having enough water in the body is called dehydration. Dehydration can rapidly progress through several stages, from mere thirst to weakness, delirium, and eventually death. A fluid imbalance in the body is no joke. But don't fret, it takes a pretty extreme situation for dehydration to escalate all the way to the point of death. On the other hand, lots of people experience mild dehydration at one point or another. It's just your body's way of reminding you to drink up.
Tips for increasing water intake.
Most people do not drink enough water. What are some ways to increase your water intake?
It is helpful to carry a water bottle around with you at all times so you can keep sipping. A non-disposable water bottle is best because you can keep refilling it from the tap wherever you go. And you can do it for free.
Although many people have a suspicion of tap water, thinking it to be unsafe or contaminated, studies have shown that bottled water is no safer than tap water in the United States. In fact, the regulations on tap water in the U.S. are more strict than those on bottled water.
Eating lots of fruits and vegetables is another way to increase water intake. Most foods contain some water, but fruits and veggies take the cake. Most contain up to 95% water. That's why they're so refreshing on a hot summer day.